So, who do you think won the debate?
Trump won the debate hands down.
Really?
He won the hate. He won.
Okay, I think that Harris won. It didn't sway me at all to vote for her, but I believe she won because I believe she was prepared. And unfortunately, Trump was not prepared.
I wasn't going. He was never going to be prepared. He has never been prepared for these type of debates, and I think that he has, through his career of politics, has always kind of winged it, and he did wing it that night. Was she more prepared than him? Yes.
Yes.
Were most people always more prepared than him? Yes.
Yes. But you know what? Okay, so he didn't counter her. Okay, I know It was 3 against 1. I do believe that.
Right. Yeah.
But he could have wiped the floor with her. He could have wiped the floor with her. In so many instances, he could have. When they brought up the race identity issue, which she is so vexed by that.
Right.
I liked his initial response when he said, "Look, I don't care."
Right.
And then, he did double down and say, "Look, when I first heard about her, she was Indian, and then she turned black." And I don't have a problem with him saying that. But her response was the Central Park Five and Trump's past with housing discrimination, his family.
Right.
That was an ideal time for him to counter her and say, well, what about today's housing discrimination?
Yeah. Yeah. And he could also have mentioned at the same point how many people that you locked up in California, whether it had been 1,500 or 45 people or whatever it is. But just to be able to come back with that. But again, a more prepared person, you're correct, would have probably brought that up, and he wasn't.
And he didn't do that. And what, I wanted to say as well about that, because she brought up later on in the debate about this $25,000 down payment assistance for first-time home buyers.
Right.
Well, she conveniently omits, as well as a lot of people in the Democratic Party, a lot of the pundits, a lot of people that work for her campaign, they omit key points.
Right.
And on her site today,
she
brings up the $25,000 down payment assistance. And she also states verbatim that she's going to be more generous with first generation homeowners.
Okay, that's immigrant talk. So
that is immigrant talk.
Yeah.
And I find it offensive that you specifically told Black people that you weren't going to do anything just for us.
Right.
But here you are, because you are a first generation immigrant.
Facts.
That you're going to do something specifically for your people.
Yeah.
And it reminds me, and I just want to read this right quick. This is from Elijah Muhammad's book, Message to the Black Man in America. Every Black man should have it. You own your own copy.
Yeah.
And on page 57, he talks about when, and this was, back in the mid 60s, when you had a lot of immigrant students in colleges and universities.
Right.
And he said that the sole purpose of them coming over to America and getting this education was so that they can go back and help their own people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's facts. I think that if you look at how much money that they send back to their own countries by the payment systems that we have around the United States, it will show that money is not coming back to us, and which is a shame that they're going to invest that money into those immigrants that are coming in and housing and EBT cards and things like that, when you have Black folks here in America that would be using reparations money that will come back to us and be using it in the neighborhood to make the economy strong. So,
and why didn't Trump? See, Trump could have countered that. He could have kept bringing it back to the economy.
Yeah, but I think what you're trying to do is what you're trying to say is Trump's not going to ever talk about or provide any type of resources for Black folks. He's no different than Harris.
I agree.
I think the difference between him and Harris is that he is him true self and living color, whether he's racist or xenophobic, whatever it is. He is all that. He's a mess.
Yeah, but don't you think that he's American first? So this is where I disagree with you on this.
Yeah, but he's himself, whereas Harris is fake. She's canned. Everything that she talks about is canned and scripted, and it's everything that we hate about politicians. So that's kind of how I look like. It's the where I see him being his true self, I don't know who she is.
Yeah, right. But what I was going to say about that was, this is why I find myself leaning more towards Trump.
Right.
Is because he is talking about these kitchen table issues. But unfortunately, he didn't talk about them during the debate. Yeah. He was derailed.
Yeah, because she
baited him and he took it.
Yeah, but that's the kind of guy he is. He's not going to run from a fight. Doesn't matter how petty it gets. And that has always been him. Is he gets distracted very easily. So
yeah. And then another thing I was going to say about her is, when you look at the groups, you look at the white community, the Black community, the immigrant community.
Okay.
Who does she identify more with?
Oh, yeah.
And she identifies more with the immigrant community.
Facts.
So going back to Trump, I really do believe, Trump is about America first.
Yeah.
I do believe that.
Yeah, I do.
And she isn't.
Yeah, I agree. I think he will stop all monies going out of the country if it's not for America, if it doesn't have the benefit of America.
I believe that.
Whereas, the things with the war, and I actually believe him that like the war would have never happened because he probably wouldn't have paid for it. And like what America is sending billions of dollars to Ukraine and Israel, he would have been like, well, what's in it for us?
Exactly.
And
but she has an immigrant mindset.
That's true.
She has an immigrant mindset. That's why she hasn't done a good job.
Yeah.
And just like what we have talked about before, Trump, he was kind of strong at the very end of the debate, but he should have really just went at her with the economy, with the border, and just kept bringing it back to that throughout the debate. She would have been stumped.
Yeah, I think he brought up the border enough for me to say, she really didn't give an answer to it. She would deflect and go on to something else about his past, and really wouldn't address why they had such, she went into the thing about him knocking down a bill that,
and he wasn't even in
office. So how are you going to blame a former president on something when you were directly responsible for it?
I thought that was very weak.
And I think at the end, with what he got her with was, there was all this stuff she was promising in her last summary statement of what she was going to do for America. And then he stumped her at the end, and he was basically like, well, why haven't you done it?
Facts.
Why haven't you done it? You've had 3 years to do it, and, if you look in the past, you could say, hey, Dick Cheney was in there and he was making stuff happen. So why can't you make stuff happen?
And see, that would have been another ideal time to counter.
Right.
And because I'm so sick of all of the gaslighting that she's doing, that the Democrats are doing, and telling us everything is good.
No, it's not.
That everything is good. And I remember at one point in the debate, he did say, listen, was it better when I was in office, or is it better now?
Right.
And she thinks that everything is okay. They're gaslighting us. They know it's not okay, because when we go to the grocery store, our bill, we went to the grocery store today, our bill was $69 and we walked out with just a couple of bags.
Yeah.
Like,
that's wild.
The economy is not okay.
Yeah, it's not. Well, I think it was, what we expected. It didn't move the meter for me. I don't know if I'm going to vote for Trump or Harris. So I'll
You
probably,
said or Harris, so that means she's still on the.
no, I think I'm probably, and then
I know I ain't voting for her.
and then it's the couch,
I know I ain't voting
Yeah.
for her, honey.
Yeah, I know.
That's not gonna happen.
All right. Well, then to next time.